Now that we've went ahead and found or talked about how to find arc length, let's go ahead and do it for some examples. So for example number 3, first thing you need to know is the arc measure, because that's how we need the theta, which we have the arc measure of the supplement, since this is the diameter. So I can find this arc measure by doing 180 minus 60, which is 120 degrees. So that's our theta. Then we need to find our circumference as well. So S represents the arc length. Our arc length is going to be 120 degrees. It's because of this right here. It's a bad color to use. So 120 degrees, there we go, a little better, over 360 degrees. And then we're going to go ahead and multiply that answer, whatever we get there, by our circumference. So in this case, our diameter is pi. So we're going to do pi times our diameter, which is 12, and then we'll work our magic. Something I like to do, just as a helpful hint, is I like to simplify this fraction first if there's an easy way of simplifying it. So for instance, if there's a 0 in both of them, they're both divisible by 0 and you can get rid of the 0. So that simplifies that down to 12 over 36 times this is 12 pi. You could keep simplifying that. In fact, I'm going to, because 12 and 36 are both divisible by 12. So this is the same thing as a third. And then I multiply that by 12 pi over 1. Which is 12 pi over, oops, that was a weird 12. 12 pi over 3, which simplifies 12 over 3 is 4 pi. So our arc length is 4 pi, since we're supposed to keep it in terms of pi, so we need the exact answer. It's 4 pi feet. All right, let's go to number 4. Let me zoom in. I should have done that on that previous problem, but I'll zoom in this time. Okay, so same idea. We're going to use this formula up here. So first thing we need to do is find our theta. Well, this arc right here is 35. The measure of this arc is 35 degrees. So this angle, the central angle, is 35 degrees. So that's 35, which means this arc measure is also 35 degrees. So that's our theta. So we can say our arc length is 35 over 360 degrees. And then we multiply that by our circumference. In this case, we only have the radius, so I'm going to use the 2 pi r. So it's going to be 2 pi multiplied by r3. And let's go ahead and clean things up. So for instance, you could know that, like if your calculator can't simplify this for you, you can notice that both of those are divisible by 5. So 35 over 360. If you divide them both by 5, you get 7 over 72. And then 2 pi times 3 is 6 pi. And then we can go ahead and simplify that. So that's, if you multiply straight across, you get 42 pi over 72. 72 times 1. And then that will further simplify down to 7/12. So 7 pi over 12, and then don't forget your units, centimeters. Once again, you can just type that in and get your approximate answer, which is the decimal. Okay, let's do another one, number 5. Same idea. So remember our arc length, the measure of our arc, by the way, is 37, since the central angle is 37. So theta is, or not theta, S, our arc length, is 37 degrees over 360, because there's 360. So we're finding what fraction, this little piece is of the whole thing, the whole circle. Multiply it by our circumference, so 2 pi times our radius, 5. So we get 37 over 360. 37 is prime, so I know that's not going to change. So times 10 pi. I'm going to put that over 1, so I can just multiply straight across. So I get 370 pi over 360. And you can do my quick little trick. They're both divisible by 10 since they both have zeros, so you can get rid of the 0. So this is going to be 37 pi over 36 inches. So just to really drive home one thing I've talked about, remember this number right here tells you what fraction of the circle this piece is. So 120 over 360 is a third of the whole circle. And 35 over 360, or this little section, is 7/72, and so on. And this is 37 360ths. So fun. All right, let's do our last one. Number 6. We're gonna, of this group, I should say. For number 6, we know what the measure of the minor arc is. It's just that 70 degrees right here. To find the major arc, though, the one that's in red, you just do 360 minus the 70, and you get 290 degrees. So that's theta. So we can work our magic from there. So our arc length will be 290 degrees over 360, so that's the fraction, multiplied by our circumference. In this case, we have our radius. So I'm going to do 2 pi multiplied by our radius, which is 10. I'm going to simplify, so 29 over 36 times 20 pi. And then to multiply, I'm going to put that 20 pi over 1 and just go straight across. So 29 times 20 is 580. So 580 pi over 36. And then I'm going to go ahead and just find common factors of this that I highlighted to simplify that. You can also, if your calculator has the ability to do that, to simplify it for you, you can just have your calculator do it. But they're both divisible by 4, so I'll get 145 pi over 9. And don't forget our units. This is centimeters. And that is that. So if you have any questions in that section, let me know.